Hello my quilting friends, Leah Day here with a quick little casual cam about my walking foot whole cloth quilt. Yes, this is a whole cloth that I have created entirely with my walking foot, which is pretty crazy because there was a lot of rotation with this quilt. However, it's small and manageable and I never really struggled with it. It wasn't a very hard quilt to make, but it did run into some issues and I wanted to share it with you. Basically, it was this spot right here, and this is one of the worst areas that it just kind of pleated and puckered through here, and you can kind of see the ripples on the quilt, and it really bothered me. And I reached the outer border and I was really struggling with the idea of it showing and it looking bad, and this quilt's gonna go in a book, and it really made me start to doubt myself and my skills as a quilter. Well, my number one piece of advice always when you're feeling bad about something is to throw more thread at it. Keep stitching, keep quilting. And I decided to take my own advice and I kept going with it. Not only did I finish the outer borders, but I filled in these areas with really dense grid quilting. And I gotta say, now that the quilt is done, I can barely see those ripply issues that were bothering me so much, that were like, I was on the point of throwing the whole quilt in the trash, but as you can see, it's really not that noticeable. And once I block the quilt, it's not going to be noticeable at all. Now, as for the problem of why it happened, I originally pen basted this quilt with bent safety pens, and they were pretty close together, but even still, I felt like the layers shifted just because of this intense, dense quilting. We've got areas that are, lines are pretty close together, and then they kind of hit up against lines that run perpendicular. I think all of that can create just some rippliness on the quilt surface. So I'm going to make this quilt a second time, and I'm going to machine baste it. So what I'm going to do is go through and baste it with bent safety pens, and then I'll put it on the machine. And you can see here, this is how I kind of fixed the quilt in the corners, is I went back over it and I put water soluble thread in the top and the bobbin, and I quilted lines with a really big stitch length. It was like a 5mm stitch length. Let me zoom in so you can see. I'll just bring it close so you can see it. Yeah. So, and these are spaced about 2 inches apart or so, and that kind of fixed it. That kind of helped that issue. So 2 sides are a little ripply and 2 sides are almost perfect. So that tells me right there, I think this was the source of the issue, was a basting issue. I don't think it was a very big deal. And like I said, throw more thread at it and it's going to look good. You're going to be happy that you finished it and got through that hard, difficult area. That being said, I am going to quilt this again. I'm going to make another one, but I'm going to make it in like a cream color, a lighter color. And I'm going to do that because I flipped the borders. I decided to change this border design very subtly, and I want to test it. I want to know if, hey, was this a design problem? Meaning that the way the lines were coming together, they were causing the problem? Or was this just a fabric shifting kind of problem? I'm still very curious, and I want to know what was the culprit here. And I think ultimately this is so important as a teacher, as a writer, to scratch that itch and keep playing and trying new things. And of course, to understand what went wrong and then share it. I'm not a perfect quilter and I have issues, and I've had this pleating issue has been cropping up quite a lot for me lately. It could be the puffy batting, it could be the direction, it could be a million different things, but the solution is to keep trying and playing and experimenting, and then to share it, because we're not perfect and this is how we learn. So I hope that you've enjoyed this walking foot whole cloth drama and that you've enjoyed seeing me work through it from basically the very, very beginning, from the drawing phase through all of the different steps and stages. I have shot videos as I've quilted this, and they will be shared as my book's coming out, so that way you can see more of this quilt step by step. So I've really enjoyed this project. It's had ups and downs, but ultimately I'm so happy that I created it. So if you'd like to learn more about it, and of course see more videos about quilting, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Leah Day and you'll find it. Until next time, let's go quilt.